Welcome to the ultimate tier listing of Green Day albums. I'm excited, I'm scared. Just a disclaimer before we start. We're all Green Day fans and we all agree that everything they touch should be S tier. However, these are my opinions. I'm sorry if I offend you. Just let me know in the comments. I just want to see what your lists would be, or at least what you'd put in S tier. You'll notice these albums at the bottom, I've grabbed them all, I think. There might be some that I've missed, but this isn't just studio albums. This includes live albums, it includes B-sides albums, it includes greatest hits, compilations. It's got it all. Okay, random album, let's go with Kerplunk. Kerplunk's raw. Kerplunk's pretty old, but it was the first introduction to Welcome to Paradise. I don't think it holds up that well. However, I still think it's a really solid Green Day album. Considering we have so many ranks, there's so many stronger albums than Kerplunk here. I do like the album, but I think I'm gonna put it... I can think of some other albums that would take the C section, so I'm gonna put it, Kerplunk's in D. Okay, that's one out of the way. Let's grab Insomniac. Insomniac's amazing. I love how, going back off Kerplunk, Kerplunk's a different kind of raw. Insomniac is just like full on. Heaviest Green Day album, maybe? Probably the heaviest Green Day album. It has some amazing songs on there. I think we've got our first B tier for Insomniac. It's incredible. I don't think I'd be putting it in A or S. I think there's going to be other albums that take that place, but I think Insomniac is a solid album. It does what it's meant to do. It ticks all the boxes you'd want from Green Day. So I think I'm going to put Insomniac in B. That's what I think anyway. Let me know what you reckon. Shenanigans, as you guys know, is the B-sides album. B-sides, rarities, covers, all kinds of weird stuff. I really like Shenanigans. However, I'm fully aware that it's not that great when compared to other Green Day albums. I like it as just like this kind of extra fun thing, just more Green Day. I mean, I can't obviously get enough of the boys. I think everything they do is magic, but I rarely would choose to listen to it. If a song comes on, I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to some Shenanigans. So I think there is worse than Shenanigans. I don't think it's D, I don't think it's the worst. I think it is what it is. I think it's a solid E tier, and that's fine. We're all okay with that, I think. I'm not gonna mess about. Straight away, solid S. I hope you all agree that American Idiot should be our first S tier. Arguably the best album they've ever done. Arguably one of the best albums in the genre. It shot them to mega fame. I know Dookie, which we'll get to in a bit, took them to being Green Day, the band that we know and love. American Idiot, around that time, they became the biggest band in the world. It's S tier, all day long, all day long. You'll notice in here as well that we've also got the side projects. I know I mentioned I got everything, but we've also got Foxborough Hot Tubs, The Long Shot. We also have The Network. Lol, yeah, it's not Green Day, but it is, whatever. For those of you who don't know who The Network is, it is basically Green Day in masks playing weird, like, synth, pop, rock, dark stuff. It's so weird and so silly. They have these weird alter egos. They still, to this day, deny that it's Green Day, but if you listen to them, it is so obvious that it's Green Day. It's so funny. They started a feud, Green Day and The Network, even though they were the same band. It's so stupid and so funny, and the songs on there are genuinely well written, and it's like rare to see that side of Green Day. Like Foxborough Hot Tubs and Long Shot, it's still rock pop. The Network is something so different, and it is legitimately one of my favorite albums, not just because it's Green Day. I would choose to listen to it. I do choose to listen to The Network. Weird album, weird thing that they did. I don't think I can put it in B tier. I don't think I can put their side project where they wear masks and play weird synth pop in B tier. But I think I'm gonna put it in C, and it might move later on. What a weird thing that we just did there. Again, my opinions, there might be some stuff you agree with or disagree with, but again, just let me know. Should we get the trilogy out of the way? It's sitting there, I'm looking at them, and they're annoying me, and I just want to rank them and get them out of the way. I'm okay with the trilogy. It didn't blow me away, but I don't hate it. Yes, I'm on the fence. I know people feel very strongly either way about it. I feel like they would have been better off taking all of the stuff that they wrote and releasing one really sick album instead of 3 good / mediocre albums. I think that hurt them. I think it hurt them in the long run. And like, it's impressive, yeah, cool, you wrote loads of songs and whatever, but you don't need to release them all in that way. It didn't feel quite coherent. So that's just me talking on the trilogy as a whole. However, if we're tackling them one by one, I think Uno is genuinely one of their more impressive albums, and I do choose to listen to it on the regular. It's quite high, but I would almost put Uno at B, a B tier album. I do think it is that good. The other albums in the trilogy, maybe not so much, but I do think Uno deserves to be up there in B. So we're going to drop that in there. I think DOS is the weakest. It's not terrible, but it's not great. I don't like it. It's going in E tier. There are songs I like from it, but I would never ever choose it. In fact, I do skip quite a lot of the tracks from it.
It's what it is.
I think Trey's okay. There are songs in there that I really like. Obviously, 99 Revolutions. There are some good songs in there, but again, it doesn't quite click with me. So I'm going to put it in D. What should we rank next? Let's go for Nimrod. Nimrod's so good. Nimrod is so good. It's kind of weird. The reason I say that is because obviously you have Green Day being normal Green Day. They'll do like pop punk songs and do what they do, but they throw some curveballs in there. Like coming after in Insomniac and Warning, which we'll get to, they're quite like straightforward. You know what you're gonna get. With Nimrod, the reason I'm saying that is you have like King for a Day exists on there. It's fun, but it's a bit weird. Platypus is like quite random. The Grouch is like quite funny and silly, but I love that they did that. And obviously Good Riddance, like ending with this like amazing ballad. They took risks, but in a really fun way, and I properly appreciate that. I think all the songs are absolutely amazing. I think it's an A tier album. I go to it, it's my go-to a lot of the time. So I'm gonna put Nimrod in A tier. Maybe higher. No, we'll stick it there for now. We can move it. We can move it later. This is, if you're not sure what it is, it's the musical soundtrack. Question: please answer in the comments. Have you been to see the American Idiot musical live? I would love to know. I was lucky enough to be able to go see it. I went to London a couple of years back now. It was amazing. It was so much fun. The production was absolutely incredible. You can see I put American Idiot in S tier. It's one of my favorite albums, and to see it being performed in that way live, much respect for the band on the night, they were so tight, but we were lucky enough to meet all the cast afterwards and just had an awesome time, which is going to affect my rating for this album, because I think having seen the production live, it gives me a different impression of how well I think the album's done. And again, it's just another spin-off of one of my favorite albums. So the more material I can get from that, the better. I'm gonna put it in C tier. It's a bit of a weird one, but I have this weird connection with the album in general. Like, I just absolutely love it. So the more I have that's connected to it, the better. I think I'm probably gonna be one of the only ones that would rank that highly, but I think they did really well. If you haven't seen the production, see if you can get a chance to go and watch it. But yeah, we're gonna put that solid C tier. Okay. If I've missed any albums, I tried to grab them all, but they have so many and I got a little bit lost. So if I missed any, please let me know. But we're gonna tackle the 2 live albums now, which is Bullet in a Bible and Awesome as Fuck. Okay. I was at the Bullet in a Bible show, which again is gonna affect my ranking like a lot. However, even if I wasn't at that show, being able to go to that show and then watching it back in that way, it's just everything. Like, it's incredible. But even if I wasn't there, I still think Bullet in a Bible is better. It's a better live album than Awesome as Fuck. But Awesome as Fuck is still great as well, so it is tough. I should also say that in general, I don't really like live albums, but because they exist, we have to kind of rank them. So I prefer Bullet in a Bible to Awesome as Fuck. But live albums are live albums, so I think we haven't put any in F tier yet. It's coming, don't you worry. I think Bullet in a Bible goes in C, and I think Awesome as Fuck goes in D. And I think that's fair because they're live albums. Should we get the 2 compilations, the 2 greatest hits out of the way then? I think International Super Hits is a better greatest hits album than God's Favorite Band. Maria is a great song just in general. I remember getting into them around that time and really digging that album. So, you know, greatest hits are greatest hits. I think I'm just gonna go D and E and not overthink it too much because it is what it is.
It's what it is.
I'm just quickly gonna do my first F tier. So here's what I wanna say about this album. I find it hard to listen to because the production is when they were young. I don't know how else to say it. Look, we can appreciate Green Day's roots, we can appreciate where they come from, but we don't have to enjoy it. And I'm not going to feel forced to think like I have to love this album. I find the album interesting to see where Green Day came from, but I wouldn't say that I enjoy listening to it or whatever would go to it to listen to. It feels really out of place just because Green Day obviously been around for so long and progressed so much since then. So it's a bit messy and they didn't really know what they're doing because they just started out. So yeah, F tier. Let's tackle their newer stuff, okay? I think we have to do it. I think we've got to go there at some point. So Father of All Motherfuckers. Everyone has strong opinions about this. I think Fire Ready Aim's really good. I'm really struggling now. Okay, let me think about this. It's not S, A, or B tier. It's not. I wouldn't say it's C either. Now, is it D or E? It's not F tier. It's okay, but there's something about it that doesn't sit right with me, and I think a lot of the fan base would kind of agree with me on that. I prefer them when they're, we'll get onto this in a minute, but I don't like the kind of like rock and roll-y vibe that it has. I'd rather them go like straight hard rock or pop punk or something, and like there are good songs on there, but it just doesn't work for me. So I think that's going in the E tier. And I am a fan of generally like bands putting out newer stuff, but it doesn't do it for me. So yeah, I think it's going in the E tier. Let's look at 21st Century Breakdown. People have mixed opinions on this album. When American Idiot came out, I fell in love with the band. Like properly fell in love. I was aware of them before, but I properly fell in love. And there were moments that I, on that journey of like listening to the stuff, being able to watch them live for the first time, attending the Bullet in a Bible gig, getting full-on chills about experiencing that like journey along with other fans and that kind of thing. 21st Century Breakdown is probably the only other Green Day album which gave me that same feeling of like being on this journey with people. And like when some of the songs dropped, I'm obviously still such a huge fan, but like more than obsessed, more than you will ever know when it came out. And I just couldn't believe my luck that they dropped another album like as good. I love it. I absolutely love this album. And people in the comments, flame me if you will. I think this album has like some standout songs. I think they were at their best around this time in general. So I think we've got our next S tier. That will be one of the more controversial ones in here. I mean, to take a little look at this list at the moment. Is there anything that you think is like completely out of place, like completely wrong? At a glance now, that does sum up where I fit with Green Day at the moment. I know we've got a few more albums to go, but there's nothing I want to change at the moment, I don't think. The long shot is okay, take it or leave it, so I'm gonna go with D. And Foxborough Hot Tubs I enjoy quite a lot more than the long shot. It's quite fun, so I'm gonna go with C again. Not overthinking that. I'm not giving them too much time because they're not full Green Day albums, even though they are. I'm not happy with that. I don't think I can rank Foxborough Hot Tubs above some of the other ones. I can't put Foxborough Hot Tubs above Trey and Kaplunk. I think I'm gonna have to do that. Let's do Dookie. For most people doing a tier list of Green Day albums from best to worst, Dookie would be probably first one in the S tier for them. For me, not so sure. I appreciate that Dookie is their coming of age album. It is the Green Day album for most people who aren't Green Day fans that they would know. It's like Basket Case and When I Come Around and everything else in that album. It's iconic. It's absolutely iconic. And this Dookie is just a full-on teenage angst album. but I get more out of American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown. Having said that, it's an incredible album. I absolutely love it. It is one of my favorites. So I'm just explaining why I'm not putting it in the S tier for me, but I'd understand why everyone else would. So Ducky, solid A tier next to Nimrod, I think. Let's tackle Revolution Radio. I think it's a great album. It doesn't do anything that we haven't heard before from them in previous albums, which is why I'm not going to rank it as highly, but I do go to it a lot, I do listen to it a lot, and I think they were so strong again around this time. I'm happy to put that alongside Insomniac and Uno in B tier. I think that just sits nicely for me of albums that I would go to and enjoy, but they don't completely blow me away. So I'm gonna put that in B tier. And last up we've got Warning. Yes, it was a bit kind of folky. Yeah, I think a really underrated album. I think the songs are really fun. I think Billy's voice sounds really good on it, and it's one of those albums that's not too overproduced because they were doing it with like acoustic instruments and doing different things. It was Green Day stripped back, and like I said, one of the reasons why I like The Network is you hear Green Day in this different vibe that you don't hear them usually with like synth pop. I know Warning isn't the same, but hearing Green Day kind of stripped back and doing like pop, folk, rock, I really like it. And sometimes the songs shine a little bit more because they're not overproduced and like doused in crunchy electric guitars, and you really get to see why Billy is one of the best songwriters that we know and love. Is it an S tier? I've got to tell you, I'm tempted. Can I do that? Can I put Warning in the S tier alongside American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown? No, it doesn't carry the same weight, the same relevance. Just like American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown felt important. There's something about them which just felt like they were making a statement. It was really big. Warning is a fantastic album. It has great songs, but I don't think it's S tier. I think, is it A tier or B tier? It's one of the two. I think I'm gonna put it in A. I really enjoy it. Yeah, and I'm happy with that. Let's take a little look over the list and see if there's anything that we want to change before I finalize it. But I think this is what I'm going to send out. Let me know what your list would be, and let me know if there's any you completely disagree with. The ones I'm most curious to hear about from you guys is what you think of my S tier, and what you think about the fact that I put Ducky in A. You know what? I think I'm going to put Shenanigans a little bit higher up. I think it was really harsh to put it in E. And like, looking at some of these albums of D, I was thinking, would I listen to that? But I think I maybe would go back and listen to Shenanigans. And like, I think I'm happy to just put that in D, or does something from D need to move up? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put Trey in C. We're going to put Dose in D. And we're going to put Shenanigans up there too. So there we go. That's my finalized list. I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what you guys think. And also, if you like this and want to see more, then like I said, please subscribe, say hello in the comments. I try and answer back as much as I can. And if you like Green Day, you might like some other stuff that I do in terms of my music and that kind of thing. So come along for the journey and we will have fun. But anyway, peace and I love you. Bye.